In most businesses, a creative service doesn't make you money. Because of this, during a recession, creative individuals are often the people cut first before things like sales. I will say this, there is good news. It is possible to become unfireable as a creative person. This video is a recording of a call I had with my team over at Mercury Media, where I broke down 5 easy steps to make sure you become fireproof as a creative individual. I hope you enjoy it.
As someone who just joined a team as I would call a creative team member, and with this combination of like me being on the other side of like being in charge of hiring and letting go people, I guess letting go and hiring is like a weird term, but more of like with contractors bringing on people to the team. There's teams I've noticed from my end, on one side of it being like the boss, you could say, and then on the other end being someone who is the creative team member employee. I want to talk through how can you be an asset to a team that never wants to let you go, never wants to get rid of you, and truly could not imagine firing you? Because I think most people in times of need believe that they can fire and let go creative team members first, because creative team members don't really make you money. The reason there's always like a thing where it's like people cut marketing the first thing when they enter a recession, which I know the US is going into. I'm not too sure about the rest of the world, but I know in the US, we are in a current recession right now. Inflation is crazy, and everyone all over is trying to figure out, how do I save more money and how do I spend less money and make more money? So we're trying to rethink things. And so these are like the 5 things that I would say you should be doing if you want to be that employee where it's like someone would never want to fire you ever. They would never want to get rid of you. Yeah, cutting people that get you sales, bro. Well, see, here's the thing is, in their mind, salespeople get the sales, not marketing. They think sales produces sales and marketing is just kind of like an afterthought. And when you're the one in control of the money and you're paying people, it makes sense that you would think like that. Obviously, it's not the case. You almost, even Gary says, you want to double down on marketing when you feel that tightness in your wallet. And so these are things that I've learned. Maybe I'm not perfect at these myself either, but these are things that I strive for and I wanted to share with y'all. So first one, be on time. So obviously creative people are known for not being on time. I'm not on time hardly ever. Okay. Jenny's probably like writing an essay in the comment section right now because me and her have such a hard time with this. Because most of the time, I think it's because, though, guys, if you're a creative individual and you're someone who is just always late, the problem isn't that you can't be on time and that's just who you are. The problem is you're valuing other things over being on time. Most people who are type A personalities who are always on time and make it every single time, they value being on time because in their mind, they equate it to showing respect to the other person. I'm like taking notes on my own stuff here. But for someone like me, I don't view it like that. I just literally view it as like, you are getting graced with my presence. So whenever I show up, you should be happy. And that's not a popular or a good thing for you to be telling an employer. Because even that mindset of like, whenever I get there, you should be lucky I'm there. Does an employer want someone who thinks like that? No, an employer wants someone who's going to respect their time and be on time, whether that's to meetings or with deadlines. And I think we're all trying to work on all of those.
Quick pause to say thank you so much for watching. If you're enjoying this, if you like this type of content where it's just real actionable advice for creative individuals looking to either grow on YouTube or build a business around their creativity, make sure to like and subscribe. Okay, back to the video.
Next, and the most important, I think, is be honest. The last thing that an employer wants is someone who makes up stuff. And so these little tiny lies can add up. So things like, oh, I had this thing going on, whatever. We want to always be honest. And the reason I put this here isn't because I felt like anyone isn't honest on this team. I actually think everyone here is an honest person. This takes trust to develop. And sometimes it's better to tell the person I messed up and I missed it because I was slacking off. I'm going to make sure I fix it and we're going to get better. And this is not acceptable. I'm going to move forward like this. Instead of saying something along the lines of like, my car broke down on the way to upload a video. You know what I mean? Like, it's just sometimes people can sniff out that stuff. So we always want to be honest. But really where this ties into is this next point here, is communicate faster than everybody else. Like I said, every single creative team member is known for, I think there's a stigma that a creative team member is known for being lazy, slow, doesn't communicate, and does whatever they want whenever they get there, right? That's just like the stigma that exists for someone who's in branding, someone who's in art, someone who's in music, acting. Actors are always late. That's literally what people talk about. And they're just like, oh, well, I'm the talent. I can get there when I get there, right? And so if you can, same goes for communication. People just don't respond to things, myself included. But if you can fight against that and communicate faster than everyone else is communicating, you're the first one to respond to a message. You're the first one reacting to a message. You're the first one when you notice that a project isn't going to be due, you're not going to have a project done in time by the deadline. You're communicating faster than the person who's going to reach out to you and ask where it is. If Gary Bird reaches out to me and, I tell him, hey, I'm going to have these documents due to you by Friday. And then it's Thursday night and I'm like, yo, these aren't done. Like, I'm spending way too much time. I'm DMing him and I'm telling him, hey, Gary, I know I told you we'd have it by Friday. It's not going to happen. This took way too long researching this. I've been at this for a while. I'm not going to be able to do it. It's going to be probably till Saturday or next Monday. And usually 10 times out of 10, Gary says, thank you so much for communicating with me that. Totally fine. Right. And that is going to be most of the case. A lot of you have experienced this on the front end with us personally, within our own team, but also with your own clients. Like, you want to be communicating with them faster than they can even think to communicate with you. And if you do that, they'll never want to get rid of you. Spend more time thinking creatively than your client or employer. So anytime a creative person is hired, it's because a businessman doesn't want to think about something. They don't want to spend the time in their brain to worry about if it looks good or if it sounds good or if it comes across better or if it's on brand or on par with what's popular today. They don't want to care about it. That's why instead of doing it themselves, they hire someone else to own that area. Is they're expecting someone to think more creatively and think creatively more than they are because they don't want to think about it anymore. And so the more you can just sit and think about what it is the project is or what you guys are chasing after. For example, my last job, whenever I was a kids director at a church, literally the conversation of me leaving stemmed from the fact I had people working for me that were on Sundays and Saturdays DMing me and texting me at like 9 p.m. at night, being like, I just had this idea. What if we had this huge thing that we did for the kids in a few weeks for Mother's Day? That would be so cool. What was I doing? I was like, bro, I don't care. Like, because I wasn't passionate about it. I wasn't excited about it. And so I was just, the second the clock struck 5 o'clock, I was gone. My brain checked out. I'm trying to get rid of it. I don't want to be here. And there's nothing wrong with working a 9 to 5, clocking in, clocking out, whatever. But what I'm trying to get at is, hopefully, if you love what you do, you're naturally already doing this. But the biggest thing you can do is to show your work, is to show your boss, hey, I was thinking, I saw this video, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. What if we tried it like this? And a lot of you guys do that, which is why I love working with you guys. Last thing here, if I can go to the next slide, if it'll let me, please. Please. There we go. Multiply your knowledge. So what does that mean? Yes, it could mean like get smarter, like learn more. right? But what I really mean by this is most people, if they see you as someone who can just do the job, they deep down, right, when they're the one paying out, they know they can go find someone else who can just do the job, right? Just truly, that is the fact. Like if you can edit a video, I'm 100% confident there's going to be plenty of other people who can edit the video. But if you can share your knowledge with other people on the team, if by you being on the team, you can teach others around you without being asked to, and you're just like bringing up the level of excellence of everyone else around you, what that tells to an employer and what it tells to anyone who's paying you money is that you're more valuable than just an editor. You're a leader. You're someone who's naturally taking charge and taking ownership of a video, of an editing style, of a brand, and you can elevate it just by you being there. And then they start to think, because a lot of the mentality nowadays, and especially with freelancing, it's a little bit different. But when you're on a team, especially, is there's a big mentality nowadays where it's like, if you want me to do extra work, you got to pay me for that. And that there are certain instances, I will say, I want a blanket statement, like where that is true. Like, do not ever just let someone steamroll you and tell you, hey, can you actually do this too? Can you actually do this as well? You do have to be able to say, hey, no, this is my rate. This is how much we're going to do it for, etc. But if you're looking to be someone who like isn't the first one to be cut when times start happening like that, I would highly encourage you to take ownership of something that's not yours yet, because 9 times out of 10, if you have employers or managers who you trust and who trust you, they're going to actually start compensating you more for that. They're going to be like, oh, you're already owning that. Well, we'll just start paying you for it, right? Well, you're already doing this. Let's just go ahead and elevate you. We're going to promote you now because you're starting to do it. And now we don't even have to train anyone on how to do it. Like, you're there already. So yes, you're officially the director of this area. So the more you can multiply your knowledge by teaching those around you, maybe setting up systems, maybe it's just doing stuff on your own to make others better, that's going to improve the level of the team and your likelihood of, 1, not getting fired ever, or 2, getting paid more. Because if you do all these 5 things and then you ask for a raise, the answer will be yes, 9 times out of 10, in my opinion. Even from within some of you exemplify this extremely well. And you've come to me and said, hey, I would like to be paid this instead of this. And when you've hit all 5 of these, I don't even hesitate. I'm just like, sure. Sometimes it might not be possible just because, hey, I actually literally don't have the budget for this. Like, it's impossible. I want to pay you more, so let's go. But then it's like me saying, hey, I want to try and fight to keep you around. So I'm going to try and find more business. So that is literally the way to become unfireable and potentially make more money doing what you love as a creative individual.